I said to myself, okay, if I want to transform my body as an example, and I want a vision of that, what is that? I used to work out like crazy and I got all bulked up and I thought I was just so cool, but I couldn't walk. I would be on stage and I'd be in pain. I'd bend over and hurt my back. It was silly. So gradually I got more clear and I said, what I really want is energy. Energy is the force of life. If you got energy, you're going to have a passionate relationship because there's the energy for it. Otherwise, if you're tired, I don't care how much you know about relationships or how much you love your partner, you're just not going to have it. You're going to go, honey, not tonight. So much of our life is tied to that. You're not going to start a new business or be able to take care of your kids or just enjoy your life with all the juice if that energy isn't there. So I said, okay, how am I going to do this? Once you get clear on what you want, you got to figure out what's a role model. Who's got the tools to get me there quicker? My whole thing is, how do you compress decades into days? How do I save the time and not reinvent the wheel like some idiot? That's what I used to do. I was dumb. But I said, okay, who is the most energized athlete in the world who's not a professional? That's not their full-time job. They're not paid for this. So it has to be something that's really fed them. And they weren't, let's say, necessarily a great athlete in school. Somebody who became strong in terms of their capacity, in terms of their endurance. Because endurance is a very powerful part of our lives. Life is not a sprint. Sometimes you have to sprint, but life's more like a marathon, and energy is the secret. So I kept doing research, and I found this man named Stu Middleman, this guy that ran 1,000 miles in 11 days. If you can imagine, he ran 85 miles a day for 11 consecutive days, and he was stronger at the end than the beginning. Now, he did this around, 30 years old, if I remember, but here's what's amazing about him. You go, he's a freak of nature. How does this relate to me? Here's how. If you understand what he learned, is he was not a runner. He trained his body to burn fat. Most of us burn sugar, so what do? Oh yeah, we jump in there, and sugar burning's kind of like lighter fluid. You go in there and bam, you got a burst of energy from what you've eaten, but bam, within a short time, your blood sugar's dropping, and the energy's gone. Lighter fluid, bam, big explosion of energy, and it's gone. What burning fat, which is what you can train your body to do, does is it makes you burn like coals. You just keep going and going and going and going. If you've met anybody, if you've gotten introduced to this because you know someone who's been to one of my live seminars, they'll tell you we do a weekend where people normally would not sit for 3 hours for a movie. A 3.5-hour concert is considered a long concert. And we've got people that are incredibly sophisticated, both in development, psychologically, intelligence levels, economics. We got people from 45 countries that'll be in a seminar translating for 3 languages simultaneously. And we'll be in a weekend that might last 40 hours and nobody wants to leave the room. And I'm not exaggerating. And it's because there's an energy. There's an energy to life. So what I've done in Get the Edge is I've taken each of these individual areas and say, what is it that these people do? And by the way, if you say, well, that's really wonderful, he did that. If you think you're at a different stage of life and you don't have that energy, let me tell you what you learn and Get the Edge in that area. He did it again at 49 years old. He decided to run from San Diego to New York City and break his own record, 3,000 miles, 52 miles a day. That's 2 marathons a day for 57 consecutive days. 2 marathons a day for 57 days. Imagine that. Now, I'm the kind of guy, I can't go to sleep at night till I figure out how the heck he did that. Instead of going, well, he's a freak of nature or he's unbelievable. When I realized this guy wasn't even a runner, and I found out that the way he learned this was by going to Central America and studying this group of Indians that once a year the tribe runs 76 miles. Like everybody in the tribe does this run as part of this celebration. He thought they were crazy and went down to study the social psychology of this, but also being an expert in physiology, he figured out they trained their bodies to burn fat. So I'm telling you this because Get the Edge is about the tools also. What are the tools that make a relationship work? What are the tools that make you go from where you are to where you want to be financially? And I'm coming into my 3rd decade shortly of studying human beings, of being that hunter of human excellence. So that's where we're going. But these first 2 CDs are the process that makes this all possible. First, we got to get you clear. We got to get you focused. We got to give you a process where you start to create what you want. Clarity is power. Second, I'm going to give you a couple of tools here right away to shift what makes everything work, which is your emotions. Right? Think about it. If you've got all this energy, but you're depressed, I don't care about your body. It's going to go down. Now, they do interact with one another, as I'm sure you realize. If you're feeling physically bad, it's easy to feel emotionally bad and vice versa. But my view is